Okay, this is a video on filters, so I'm going to give an example with a building in question here on how to deal with filters, for example, using columns, so we can differentiate between between the same family members. So if I select the column here, so you can see it's a structural column, so we can always go to VV, it's in visibility in graphics. Go to structure, go to structural columns, uncheck, and done. We are capable of hiding one of the categories, families, entirely by going to VV again and checking and unchecking this option. We can override, such as line cut, color, or make it halftone, which etc. etc. All those things that we can do, it's always related to the specific category of structural columns. So what if we have a specific kind of column, such as side or perimeter column and center column, no? So I'm going to go back, check that, and what we're going to use is filters to achieve that goal. Something like hide the center columns and leave the ones in the perimeter. Okay, so let's select one, isolate category. Nope, Control C, sorry. Select, isolate category, so we leave it there, no? So again, we have the columns here. I'm going to get rid of the shadow, it's bothering me. I'm going to go to the top view. And what we need to do is create a parameter, very simple text parameter that allows us to describe or give them a difference in terms of their condition of perimeter or center to each of the columns. So it is a little weird that you have to actually select columns to be able to select them better, but that's something that offices should have done or will be doing beforehand, before they have the set of columns, so they can manage them afterwards. So let's create a column. First thing will be under manage. I'm going to do project parameters, and this is the place where you're going to see all the parameters that you have for your project. So you can say add. I'm going to use instance for this option, and we're going to call it column organization. Leave it an instance. Basically, instance is that the parameter is going to show here for this each specific category or family. So we will be able to change for individual selections its parameter directly in the properties panel, versus using type. You will be able to go to edit type, and it will change the entire set of columns that are within that category. Okay. Common discipline, you could actually make it structural, but I think common is good because, you know, more of architectural atmosphere. The type of parameter is going to be a text, and you have many other parameters that we will discuss as we go. And the group parameter is basically where it's going to store, in what sector or section it's going to be stored that parameter, such as identity data. That is dark in gray, that will be a sector, no? Should be somewhere around here. Identity data, so that would be the same as, I want to store it within it. So I'm going to just take it into the structural. And the last thing we want to do is make sure that we check what is that we're talking about. We're talking about structural columns. Okay, okay. Which means that now if I select any column here, somewhere around the properties panel, I should have that parameter included. So let's see where it is, under structural, column organization, and we're going to be able to place here a text, because that's what we told it to do. So it's a little weird that we have to select now, pressing Control. But again, this would have been better if it was done earlier in the creation of the project. But it's never bad to learn at any point. So I have selected all the perimeter ones. I'm going to go to that parameter that we created. I'm going to call it something like side, apply, and I'm going to select all the interior or center pieces, pressing Control. Okay, and I'm going to go to that same parameter and say center. apply. Okay, so it seems like not much has been done. What we have made sure is that if you select any column, it does have that parameter completed. So now it's a matter of creating a filter. So if you go to VV, Visiting Graphics, the last of the tabs, filter, it's empty. The reason is that we have to create our own filters, and this becomes extremely powerful when we start dealing with projects of certain complexity. So edit new type is going to allow us to create our own set of rules for the filters. So we say create a new one, column side, or even better, side column. Okay, there it is. Now it is about structural columns. We have to check that. And it is about what parameter, the parameter that we have created, which is column organization. Good. Now you have several formulas. This is pretty much gonna understand what kind of instruction or rule you want to create. So if it's equal, here we want to say side, and it has to be exactly the same text that we have placed on the parameter itself. So here's what is happening. For all the structural columns, with and understand its parameter column organization, detect all of those that are equal to side. Say okay, nothing happens because you have to add it. Okay, and there you have. This is the rule for that filter. Let's create another one. You can always right click, duplicate, right click, rename. And let's call it center columns. Okay, and this we don't have to change because structural columns, same parameter, equals in this case center. Okay, add center. Okay, so we have two different options, and we say okay, nothing happens, but at this point we can go anytime we want to the filters and check or uncheck the different ones. So if we uncheck the side columns, or the side columns should be hidden, no? There you go. Vivi, filters, check and uncheck, and there you go. You could create all kinds of parameters, such as, you know, if I have one seen, you know, make the other one unseen, etc. And not only that, from that point you can say within the filters you have detected all the side columns. Here you can say, I don't know, give me a line cut for this option of being red, I don't know, or to see it more clearly, the projection surface, let's create a pattern, red, and fill, and line like red, and just leave that. And now you see how the pattern has red. So imagine how useful this could be for offices if, for example, they have doors, windows, or any kind of mechanical or any other equipment that has to be revised. You could always create filters and say, well, a new parameter called check by, and then, you know, different people would place their name like Severino, like Juanito, etc., etc. And you will be able to put in different colors depending on if it was checked by one person, by another, if they haven't been checked yet, if they don't have any name or any kind of condition. So again, filter, and you can say, well, I do want to see those two center columns, but I want to see them, you know, blue or cyan and cyan, and there they are. Or you can say for those or clear override, but make them halftone. So even if you don't see it, this is halftone. It's like reducing its intensity, you know, so you can see the other one's clear. So you can do all kinds of differentiation with that tool. So I hope you like that little tutorial.